Eternal King here, bringing you another gaming video today. So very quickly, I wanted to essentially rank the companions in Baldur's Gate for honor mode specifically. Now, keep in mind, I'm basically assuming that you're going to re-roll all of your companions, while your MC, and we've done a lot of videos on MC, is locked in. You cannot re-roll MC on honor mode. So essentially having a very smooth grind from like level 1 all the way to level 12 is essentially how I base tiers in terms of classes and stats and the way that you build characters in honor mode. It's just like essentially zero wipe playthroughs where I basically fight every encounter no matter what. So we'll rank companions the same way. Let's assume that you're essentially fighting every encounter that is in the game, and you're doing it straight up. And that's how I'm going to rank companions here. Starting off with Druid Boy. So Druid Boy is very strong. So essentially, if you don't know, each class essentially has certain things about them that are that transfer over in terms of rerolls. So for example, Halsin is kind of like a Circle of the Moon Druid. But if you respec him into something like Circle of the Land, he actually keeps a lot of what makes Circle of the Moon good while you respec him. So he can burst change form into Druid Bear. He can lunar heal while in any of his animal shapes. He just gets to do that. And that is why Halsin is incredibly strong as a companion, is that like essentially feel free to respec him to Circle of Land, get more spells, get the ability to refill spell charges, but then also just get the best stuff of Circle of the Moon anyway, because he just has that baked into his companion kit. Talking about Astorian, he really only has one thing that is unique to him, which is his vampirism. And so his vampirism essentially gives him +1 to rolls and the ability to heal a little bit as a burst action. And like that is okay, but it's not incredible in regards to like something that's baked into his kit. Nothing else about him is particularly special other than the fact that he can bite people and basically get advantage against them as a burst action, but then also heal a little bit and then improve his rolls moving forward. But that is actually a pretty good ability, so I'll keep that at A tier specifically. Talking about your default warrior, definitely A tier. Having access to essentially a teleport ability, having access to a super jump, but being able to use some of the one of the best two-handed swords in the game. While a lot of that isn't necessarily unique to this companion, the fact that it's all rolled into one is very strong. Make her an arcane archer, and she's basically good to go. Shadowheart C tier. Shadowheart basically is a mandatory reroll. You basically need to take her to a much better version of cleric. For example, a healing cleric, a warrior cleric where she gets to attack 2 times per turn, a hybrid cleric, like for example, half Sork, half Storm cleric, something like that. You will have to re-roll her, and the re-roll has to be pretty fundamentally different from the way that she's presented to you as a companion. So she's like one of the worst. I always hate how when I do honor mode runs, she's the first one you come across, because she's basically like you basically sprint for a Saurian and then the warrior. You try to get these guys unlocked very quickly, and it's the same thing with Gale. So Gale is B tier. Essentially just wizard guy, and there's nothing unique about his kit that is special to him about him being a wizard guy, but wizard is just like an S tier class. You could basically want to subclass him into a better version of wizard as quickly as possible, but that's just like a good thing to have early on in the game, and he just never left my party. You can feed him every single one of the scrolls you find so that he learns the spells permanently, and that's very, very good. Karlach is A tier because she essentially gets to be a barbarian and a paladin baked into her kit. So if you don't know, she gets smites anyway, even though she's a barbarian. Will, S tier. I would say that Will's S tier just in regards to the fact that he gets a sword specialization regardless of what class he is. He just gets to do the rapier thing regardless. Like that's actually pretty good. And then these companions I'm essentially just not going to actively rank because they are optional. So I'm just ranking the core class of your core